Now we are going to look on what are the comparison between our country Malaysia and other countries regarding the issue of harassment and discrimination in sports. Let us take a look on some of the issue, which is first, racism. In other countries, racism in sport is a common thing and the athlete often face with it. For example, in America, racism against black athletes has become so common which sometimes it becomes hard to stop and it keeps growing faster from time to time. Some of the black athletes are even being moved and being forced to be put in a certain position in sport just because the color of their skin is different. There is also a racial discrimination against African American where they are being forced to be put in a position that do not need any intelligence, while the white athlete will play in crucial positions. Even more, if the sports involving a lot of people such as football or rugby, the athlete who will handle the ball the most are usually white athletes. And if we take a look at what are the good words given by the scouts about white athletes and black athletes, most of the good words given to the white athletes will be referred as someone who have the potential to become a good leader, smart and intelligent. Comparing the issue with our country Malaysia, some of us might think that the issue of racism in sport in our country is really happening, but the truth is, it is not. We can look by ourselves when this year there was an article about a politician made a racist comment to our national single shuttler Eskisona after her team defeat in the Malaysia-Japan Sudirman Club semi-final. In my opinion, I am quite disappointed with the comment made because as someone who have a lot of influences, you should not do such thing. And instead, you should be the one who educate people that racism in sport is not needed since it will obstruct the main purpose of sport itself, which is to unite people with it. We don't want our country to become like America, where we categorize someone's capability in sport based on their skin color. This is because everyone should be given equal right in sport despite their differences. Next is discrimination against female athletes because of their clothing. As we all know, every sport has its own clothing rule. However, time and time again, when women perform, what they're wearing becomes the part of the conversation as much as the performance itself, which is kind of degrading the female athletes. For example, the women beach handball team from Norway have received a lot of criticism from the society because of the sports attire they wore. They even have been fined €1,500 for being improperly dressed after the team was shot instead of bikini bottom in the European match in Bulgaria. However, the team still decided to wear short and ignore the rules with the purpose to draw attention on this issue and the double standard faced by the female athletes. So by looking at this situation, we can see that the female athletes should be given a right to choose on what are the sports attire they wanted to wear. Moreover, the athlete also said that it is about what feels comfortable to them and not about what people say to them. In our country, Malaysia, this kind of discrimination also happens to our female athlete because of having a lot of various kind of ethnic and religions in our country. People will always say and argue that the attire that they wore was not suitable and not proper for them in the sports. For example, our national sprinter Azrin Nabila Alias, who dressed to cover her aura and wore hijab during her 100-meter sprint event, had received a lot of criticism just because of her performing differently from other runners. Even though she managed to set a personal best record of 11.77 seconds, people still say that she can do better if she did not wear such attire which seemed quite uncomfortable to them. The question is, how did you know that the attire that she wore was not uncomfortable to her? In this situation, her stance to wear hijab should be supported rather than being criticized by the community. This is because the way she wears it has nothing to do with her performance in the competition. Well, we can see here that every country faces with harassment and discrimination in sports. The only difference is to what extent has the problem go through and how severe the problem has affected the athletes. So, we should start taking initiative to cope with this problem in order for us to make sports in our country better than before. That's all from me. Now I will pass the platform to the next presenter.